Bava Basra Daf and Gimel. Lishnachi Amar Law. So now the Gemara presents a different version of the Mishnah. Lishnachi Amar Law, a different version relates the following discussion. Savarua, the Chachamim assumed that my mechitza, what does it mean? Ashutafin Shudatzulas is mechitza. What does that mean? What does it mean? Mechitza means a plukta, means division. The ksiv, like it says, Ati mechta seida, and the division of the congregation. The kivan now. So now that you explain that, what does mechitza mean? It means a plukta. The kivan the ratzu. Now, based on this, since they wish to divide the jointly owned courtyard by the sakesa bakarchan, they build a wall in the center, even against the will of one of the partners, and that's the word. So I will receive from here. You can learn from here the damage caused by sight is called the damage. So where it says aim of my mechitza, I can tell you what is the meaning of mechitza. It means godo. It means not a division, but a actual partition. It's not like it says. We brought this down yesterday. Mechitza is a kerem shenifritzo, a partition, a vineyard which separates, we said, the vineyard from a field of grain, and it was breached. So Allah is Eimer Loi. The owner of the tfuah can say to the owner of the kerem, "Get there. You have to build a wall so that you should not make it hektish. You should not make it kilayim. If it was breached, and really could tell him again, get there, make a partition. The owner of the vineyard neglected to make the necessary repairs and then not properly build a partition between no fields. As a kiddush, it is considered forbidden. The chayav b'achiyus, and he's chayav for the monetary loss. Now, like from every time of the ratzu, according to the reason why that they built the wall. The reason why they have to build the wall is because they want it. So what if they don't want it? In Chayav we don't force one party to to participate in the wall. As we see that hezek is not a hezek. So Mar says, so ben esakesel, if that's really true, so why are you saying ben esakesel? Ben esev. So Mar says, okay, salamai, what does it mean? Plukta. Why is it saying that they want to make a mechitza? It should have said they want to make a division. So Mar says, I could say, it's like people say, come, let us make a division. So the Mishnah could have understood as referring to two people who wish to divide a joint area. Now, according to the understanding, the mechitza means a division. But if damage caused by sight is called damage, so what does it mean? If they want, even if they don't want, they should have to do it. So I would have asked, it says, Mishnah said, our Mishnah is talking about that where, in the case where they both wish to divide the courtyard, so there's no din of chalukah. In other words, cannot be subject to the halacha of division. In other words, joint owners of a courtyard cannot be compelled to divide the courtyard unless each party will receive at least 4x4. And here the halacha is, the Mishnah is talking about a case where they both wish to divide the courtyard. So where it says, my commercial, what's it teaching us? The chiles labo meidin chalukah is teaching us that when the courtyard is not subject to the halacha division, so if they nevertheless wish to do so, pligi, do they divide it? Tanina, but we already learned this in the later case of the Mishnah. Side, when do they not divide the courtyard because it's not large enough to compel the division? When they don't want. When they both do want it, I think the Bava Basra even less. How can they divide it? So where it says from there, I would say I feel the Bava Basra even less. I would say even smaller than this by constructing a partition of pegs, which does not prevent the invasion of privacy. Kamash Valan, Hacha, that we're talking about a kaisel. Therefore, the Tanakh teaches us that in this mission, that if they wish to divide the courtyard, they can be compelled to build a proper wall. Ask the Gemara, "V'lisni ha v'loy lisni ach." Let the Tanakh teach this Mishnah and not teach the other Mishnah, as the Mishnah teaches more details than the latter one. For answer, it was necessary to teach the Sefer, and jointly owned Kisvei Kodesh that are, in other words, we're talking about a Kisvei Kodesh that is are contained in a single scroll, and even if both of one to divide it, they should not divide it. Now, the Lishna Achina, the Rishonim say to take it out. So now the Gemara says, so take that all out. So the Gemara says, now, to what did the interpreter of the Mishnah be referring to? The She'ain Badin Chalukah. The case for the court, it is not subject to the halacha of division. Now, there's nothing in Chalukah, Kinotsu Mahaba, even if they want one of it. How can either one force the other to build a wall if the parties no longer want to build a wall? So when it says, let them retract. When they perform the kinyan, therefore neither party can retract. So the Gemara says, and even if each party performed an act of acquisition for the other, what is of it? Kinyan Varbalma, it's only a verbal acquisition. Meaning there's no actual transfer of property. Only a verbal agreement to act in certain manners in the future and not true of acquisition. So the Gemara says, this will walk through his designated portion, perform an act demonstrating performing there. Ownership performing there. And that one will walk through his designated portion, perform an act demonstrating ownership there. The Mishnah teaches Makom Shenagol Libnei in a place where it's customary to build Gevil. So the Gemara says Gevil refers to Abnei Delei Mishapia. Stones are not planned. Because it's Abnei Delei Mishapia. It's talking about stones that are planned. If Siv Kol Ela Avanim Yikaris Kimides Gozis. Like it says, all these were of costly stones according to the measures of tristle stones. Kfisin refers to Archi, small bricks. Levin is Livnei, large bricks. Over the Rabo, he says, my the Gvil Abnei Limish by any from where do you know that the Gvil refers to stones that are not planed? By Tefach Yatiru, and this extra Tefach, that a wall of Gvil compared to what a wall of Guz is. The Morsha de Karnia is for protruding edges. That is, a wall of Gvil is 6 by 6 thick because the stones have not been planted smoothed, and therefore protrude someone outwards. They will palga the Guzis. So perhaps Gvil refers to a planted stone that are half of thickness of Guzis. By Tefach Yatira, and thus the Tefach is a wall of Gvil is for two spaces. The Veda Orvo is this between two. That is, a wall of Gvil is actually two walls of planted stones that are each 2.5 tvachim thick. And two walls are separated by one handbreadth, which is later filled with mortar for added strength. Now, a proof to this explanation, because I'm reading like we say, Kfisin is arche, is small bricks, and Livni is Livni, an extra tefach of thickness of a wall of Kfisin, as compared to what of Levinim that has 4 Levini Urva, which between the rows of small bricks. So now the Gemara goes weiter and says, Amrulei, so Rashi said to him, and according to your reasoning, Kfisin, from where do you know that Kfisin? Arche are small bricks we know alone. Rather, the Chacham learned this as a tradition. And Gevil Nami, so they learned as a tradition, Amnei Delei Mishpaya, that Gevil refers to a Gemara Gemirle, that Gevil refers to a non-plain stones. Those who say, from where do you know that Kfisin are small bricks? Archino are small bricks, 1/2 that width of large bricks. And this extra tefach that a wall has compared to what of Livnei Orva, the space between the two rows of Kfisin, Dilma, my Kfisin. Perhaps they what are Kfisin is Amnei Delei Mishpaya, the stones that are not planted by Tefach Hatiru, and this extra tefach, the worship of the Karnosa, is shooting hedges. And Kida Amrinon, as we say, Gevil, the Gevil, is Amrinon Mishpaya. Gevil refers to stones that are not plant. Gazis, whereas Gazis is Amrinon Mishpaya, is playing stones. By Tefich Yatiro and S extra Tefach is the Mursh Tekarnasa. That's protruding edges. So Rabbi said this, according to the reasoning, Gevil, for him, the Gevil is Abnei Dele Mishpayan, stones that are not planed. And all for him, so it's this tradition. Or Rabbi says, Shemamina, we can learn from here, called Beni Urvana. I learned from here that the space left between the two rows of a wall is tefach, is always a tefach. Hani mili betina. So the rest says this matter applies only when the two rows of wall are filled with mortar. But with regards to gravel, more space is required. You get those who say Hani mili bedichsa. This matter applies only to two rows of walls that are filled with gravel. But with regards to mortar, not as much space is required. The memra of the Begazius, is this to say that it's in regards to chisel stone, Kol Arba Amas Geva, and every 4 amas of height, you have a Port of Chamshir. So is this to say that the case of the wall of chisel stone is every 4 amas of height that are 5 handbreadths of thickness, the wall will stand? And Eloi Leikoi won't stand on Amatraxin, but wasn't there a 1 cubit thick wall separated, which separated the Kedesh Geleshon from the Beis HaMikdash? In other words, separating the Kedesh Geleshon from the Heichal. They have a Porta Pusia Elashis Pushka, and there was 30 cubits high, and its thickness was only 6 handbreadths. The common, nevertheless, it stood. Or says, Kivan the Ikat Tafetira, since there was an extra handbreadth of thickness, it was able to stand even such a great height. We bring the Sheni in my time of the Amma Traxton. And what is the reason in the by Sheni they did not fashion Amma of Traxin, separate between Kedesh Geleshon and the sanctuary, as they've done in the first Beis HaMikdash? Right, so this Kikoi, on a petition stands, even though it's only 6'12" thick, it's able to remain standing up to 30 cubits in height. It's fair that could, but more than not able to. And we don't have a give it's fair. For what do we know, the that the Beis HaMikdash was told in the first Beis HaMikdash, it's called the Yakved HaBais, as the glory of this latter house, so we're greater than half of that of the former. That was Shmuel. The Amar of Rabbi Chad, some say it's Bibinyan. Some say it was Rabbi Chad Amar, and the other person says is Bishanu, greater in years, meaning the Beis HaMikdash will stand longer than the first. And the Gemara comments that this is true and this is true, meaning that the Beis HaMikdash was taller than the second Beis HaMikdash was taller than the first Beis HaMikdash, and also lasted a lot longer. So the Gemara says, if the second Beis HaMikdash was taller than the separate between the Kedesh Geleshon and the Eichel, the Beis HaMikdash they should have made a wall 30 amas high, and then made a curtain for the rest of the height, 70 cubic difference in height between the first and the second Beis HaMikdash. Right? So this would have been impossible, as when a 30 cubit wall that is 6'12" thick stands, agav tikra maziva havikoi, is just the ceiling and plaster which is attached to the ceiling that it stands. But tikra maziva, but without a ceiling and the plaster holding in its place, havikoi does not stand. So the rest is v'leven my adasher b'vinyan, but they should have made a wall as high as it can possibly stand by itself. V'leven didach b'neiches, and then should have made a curtain for the rest of the height. So Rabbi says Gemiri, they learned the tradition. They learned as a tradition that a partition separating the Kedesh Geleshon from sanctuary, should be built either entirely as a wall or sometimes a curtain. It should be built either entirely as a wall, a Migdash, we've done this from the first Beis HaMikdash, and we did that from the Mishkan. And no time ever was there a petition to come by the wall and a curtain. A dilemma was raised against Bava Chacham. Hein v'sidin. So the measures given in the Mishnah applied to them the thickness of the material himself and the plaster with which the material was coated, or perhaps just to them without their plaster. Or it start makes sense. Hein v'sidin, them of the plaster. So the hein b'leisidin. If not, then the snayab the shiura should have taught the measurements of plaster as well. Allah Shemina hein v'sidin must be. Then on the plaster, the word says and it came to le'avatavach. And since the plaster does not have the thickness of one tefach, the Tana did not teach such a small measurement. Gemara says v'ha'ktani, but doesn't the Tana teach v'levanian? Doesn't Tana teach with regard to the bricks? V'levanian zenes tefach hamech, so zenes tefach hamech. Each one gives half a handbreadth, and this one provides half a handbreadth. Gemara says also chazil there. Mention is made only that they're fit to be combined into a full handbreadth. Okay, the question is Tashma come in and hear solutions to the question. The Mishnah says the crossbeam which the Chacham stated may be used to render the alleyway fit for one to carry with it on Shabbos. As we said, it has to be wide enough to receive and hold a small brick. And this small brick is have to live in a shashtosha tefachim. So the Mishnah is referring to the brick without the plaster. So my answer is Hassam b'davrav. So there, the Mishnah Erevin is referring to large bricks. They can learn from it that's referring to large bricks. A person should not demolish a shul until he builds another shul. Some say the reason that Allah is due to the potential negligence, lest he failed to build a new structure after the old one has been raised. And those who say that the reason is Allah is due to the disruption of davening, for in the meantime there will be no one to daven. The question is, what's the practical difference between the two explanations? I think it'd be krishta. Practical difference is between them in a situation where there is another shul. So even though the community has an alternative place to daven, there's still a concern that the new shul will never be built. Mereimar or Marzutra Sasri Vanu Be Kaita Besifso. Mereimar and Marzutra demolished and built a summer shul in the winter. One of Besifso Be Kaita, and like manner they built a winter shul in the summer. The community would never be left without a shul. Or Rashi, Govu Zuzi Maxi. What's the law of the money for the construction of a new shul has already been collected? And it rests before us for that purpose. Is then permitted to demolish the old shul before then building a new one is. So, even if the money has been collected, there's still considered perhaps an opportunity for redeeming captives will be present itself. And they will hand over the money for that urgent requirement. The community will be left without a shul. Rabbi continues, Shtigi Levini. What is the law of the bricks to be used for the construction of the new shul are piled up? And the boards are repaired. Machtik Shura, and the beams are ready. Is it permitted to demolish the old shul for building a new one? Now, he says, Zimnin, the Mishnah opinion Shwing. Even so, sometimes an opportunity for redeeming capitals will present itself. And they will sell the building material and hand over the proceeds for the purpose. If so, that even in a case where they already built a shul, there should be concern that they might come to sell the structure of the purpose, and therefore one should ever be permitted to destroy the shul. People do not sell their residence, and certainly not the shul. And they said that an old shul must not be raised for its replacement is built only in the case where cracks are not seen in the old shul. If cracks are seen, then you may first demolish the old shul and then build a new one. Ashi saw cracks at the shul is down in the Masa Bechasa, immediately demolished it. Demolished it and then brought his bed there in the building site so that there should be no delays in the construction. And as he himself required shelter for the rain, and he did not remove his bed from there until they finished the building the shalom and then affixed drain pipes to the structure. Bava ben Puta, and Bava ben Puta, Echi, Asvi le'etza la'herdis l'mistlavi midrash. How could Bava ben Puta advise Herod to raise the basic English and build another in this place, as we're going to say later? You can't destroy it to build another one. So if you will say the action was that he saw cracks in the whole structure, the government is different. As the government is not back on its decision, therefore there's no need to be concerned about negligence as is in the case of ordinary people. Shmuel says if the government says we'll uproot mountains, will uproot mountains and not retract his words. Gemara now elaborates on the story of the episode involving Bava Basra, which we'll learn tomorrow.